Welcome back to my playthrough series, particularly for the 160th anniversary of the battles of the American Civil War. Starting out focus here in 1864, the Shenandoah campaign. Now, I've chosen this campaign for various reasons. One, obviously, it's the 160th anniversary of this. The second piece of it here is the importance of the campaign in relative terms to all the campaigns that are occurring across the 1864 time frame, and how many of them are simultaneous, and how many are primary versus secondary or even tertiary campaigns during this critical period of the American Civil War. So, as I was saying, the reason why I chose this one, it's first off, it's well documented in terms of our games and gaming collection, so we can very easily model most of these battles that have occurred across that time frame. I'm showing a map here of the historical situation over here, and kind of what I've been using to kind of check off and follow along and research to provide support for the playthroughs. And quite surprisingly, I find a lot of these battles are very easily modeled in many of the games that we have today. You can see over here, this map is showing all the battles, key ones across here. There's many minor ones here as well that I'm filling in slowly here. That's going to be part of this as well. But you can see many of them with the check marks that I have across here are well documented within the game series that are readily available to us these days. So that's one of the reasons. Second reason is of the campaigns for 1864, and there was many of them. We have the Overland campaign, we had Sherman's March to Atlanta, we have the Shenandoah, we have the James, we have the Red River campaign, all kind of starting out at once. So that was another consideration of mine as well. Which one do I want to focus on, because there was so many, and trying to get all of them in one sitting was going to be a tough situation. And plus, this allows me to focus myself on the research and the supporting information to make this a very rich experience for myself, and hopefully pass that along to you folks with my playthroughs. So we're focusing that primarily on this. The second reason here is, as I've been discovering even more and more as I get into this, the command decisions and the commanders, I should say, in the picture. You had a wide variety of them. We start out with Sigel and Breckinridge for Union and Confederate respectively, but yet we wind up at the end winding up with Early on the Confederate side and Sheridan on the Union side 6 months later. And in between there's several other commanders that are in there as well, and understanding and kind of studying their styles, their personalities, and just understanding the situations around the battles, I thought was very important, because this was a very fluid, very secondary theater to the campaign, but still very, very important to the campaign, and how this was managed, and as I said, mismanaged from times between the commanders here as well. They always had limited resources, always had limited troops, always had multiple objectives that they needed to accomplish, although the Confederates were a little bit more single-minded, but the Union had many more things that they wanted to try to achieve with those forces, all supporting Grant's overland campaign over here. That kind of ground down and was kind of a grinding attritional battle between Lee and Grant over here, and not a lot of maneuvering. I mean, yes, Grant kind of kept maneuvering, but Lee would counter and counter and counter again. The battles themselves were very static, very costly in terms of troops and morale and so forth. Over here. Contrast that to the Shenandoah, where we had very fluid battles. We had a lot of movement. There would be units traveling 20, 30, 40 miles up and down this valley, back and forth multiple times. We also have Early going all the way to D.C., or the outskirts of D.C., from this route all the way around, hundreds of miles traveled by these units. So there's a lot of maneuver in here instead of the slow process that was evolving, a slow maneuvering that was evolving down here as part of the process to take Richmond. So that becomes more interesting. Combining that with the commanders and the leaders and the leadership, the units and everything else makes this a very interesting situation that I wanted to try to model. And of course, as I said, with the primary one, we've got a lot of games that can help model this in here as well. So that's kind of my reasoning, for this. It has become very interesting in terms of what we've seen, what I've seen so far with this. I'm about halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way through all the battles. I'm getting now into some of Sheridan's campaigns in the fall. But all of these that you're seeing here are fully developed and ready to go. And I'll be placing those out. Just as a note, I'll be placing them around the anniversary. So that's hence why I'm coming out with this video today to give an introduction to this. And actually, we should be seeing the video for Newmarket coming out very shortly, as that anniversary is coming up in the next few days. So I will place those out. Same thing with Piedmont. That will come out on the 5th of June, 5th, 6th June range over there. Again, it's going to be around there. There'll probably be multiple videos, so they'll probably come out around there, either before or on the day of itself. And then we move into July, which becomes very busy. We've got Moracacy, Fort Stevens, Cool Springs. We also have Rutherford's Farm over here before Second Kernstown. We've got Second Kernstown over here. So there's a number of these that will be coming out in July, in the July timeframe. And then moving into August, we'll have some for Sheridan's campaign, which we have on the other map over here, which I'll slide over. There's a number of them that we have, Winchester, Fisher's Hill, and Cedar Creek, all through, within here. I'm potentially going to have one for Berryville. It's a little bit of a question mark right now, but stay tuned for that on there as well. So those will be coming out in September. Sorry, not August. There's some other ones here that were skirmishes. It would be nice to try to model those, but I don't think I will be able to. I've got all the units available. It's just more of the maps and terrains and things like that, and the system that would do that. So I'm not sure if we'll get into the extra ones, but definitely the ones that we have on here. Because again, my focus here is not as developing games, but actually playing games and talking about the command and leadership decisions that are involved in the battles themselves, and trying to study those, a little bit more on there than actually development in there as well. So this will be the second half. Again, these are the ones that'll come out in the fall. This will be mainly around Cedar Creek and what the fight was between Sheridan and Early within there. So that's the games, or that's the plan for the games. Now, what games are we playing with that? Well, you probably guess, big one, Death Valley. This has the most in here, most scenarios in here. There's a very good representation of the battles within the Shenandoah, particularly 1864, as well as the expansion, which is the Battle for the Shenandoah, which has Piedmont in there, as well as Cool Springs, to supplement that in there. So we'll be using this quite a bit. You'll see this quite a lot. For Early's campaign, let me just bring the map back here. For Early's campaign don't knock the camera over. There we go. For Early's campaign into DC, over in this area, basically coming around this way in Fort Stevens, we're taking a look at this one from MMP, Gamers to Take Washington. This is the Line of Battle series. Within there, again, this is be a good representation from what I've seen so far of those battles within there. A little bit different from Great Battles of the American Civil War in terms of its command structure and playability and so forth within there. But it should be equally useful for studying that as well. One more I'll showcase right now too is for the second Battle of Kernstown. I just finished this one up a little bit ago. I actually used this one just as a change up. I had been doing a lot of the battles for the Shenandoah. I wanted to do something a little bit different. So we used this one for the second Battle of Kernstown. Worked out very well. I was quite pleased. Although I know the one in Death Valley is very good as well. They're equally as good. I just wanted a little bit of change. So you will be seeing that out there as well. So those are the ones I have so far. As others come up, and if people have ideas on other ones that I can get, particularly for some of these other campaigns or other battles within the scenarios here. Particularly, I was looking for something for Cloyd's Mountain. Talk about that here in a minute on there. But other ones, particularly Berryville, like I said, I'm trying to work on something for that. Tom's Brook, I know that was just a cavalry engagement. May be able to get something together for that with Death Valley. Those would be interesting to have in there. So they may appear, but again, that's going to be towards the fall on that. So as I said, this is going to be my plan for this, and it's going to go out throughout the rest of the year. So from now here, beginning in May, all the way through to October, you'll be seeing the videos coming out around the anniversary dates with my playthroughs and commentaries and things like that on there. Again, focusing on the battles themselves and some of the command decisions that are involved with that. So that's the introduction. Just one more thing I wanted to say. The first one coming up here is coming out in just a few days. Is going to be Newmarket, right here, Battle of Newmarket, right here. That's going to be using Death Valley campaign within there. That does a very good job modeling that. Gives it a little bit of alternativeness, I guess I can make up that word, to the scenario itself, given what we can do as a game, as we play games and things like that. But it's just very interesting to see Siegel, and in terms of his capabilities or incapabilities in some of the situations around there, because Grant was really, even though he was with the Army of the Potomac over here in the wilderness, he was really dictating who was going to be generals over in the valley and what they were going to do within there. And consequently, with Siegel and Crook, who was actually just off the map over here, attacking at another point to move up to Staunton from the south at Cloyd's Mountain. Those two were to link up here at and take Lexington, take Staunton, and really clear out the upper valley in here for the Union cause, and try to break this strong point that the Confederates had held back here in the southern part of Virginia. And consequently, that was key, because in here, this was a number of things in here. This was mainly supply base. And when I talk supply base, it was raw materials and finished materials, such as food, such as forage, such as ammunition. Other things all were being created and managed over here to pass along to Lee within there. If this was lost, this would be a severe blow to the Confederacy, as well as logistically, because that would break the rail lines over into what was left of Tennessee. It would also provide, a back door for the Union to come at Richmond, and Lee would be surrounded on three sides, coming from the north, the east, and the west, and Richmond would not be in a good position. So it was key there to have that, and Grant recognized that, and he just wanted to hold it and control it, to take it off the table from Lee's use. Lee, on the other hand, wanted to keep it in Southern hands as much as possible to prevent that. Now, the Union controlled the northern part of it. They held pretty much from Winchester, Martinsburg, Harper's Ferry area after the retreat from Gettysburg. And they continued to hold that, pretty much all the way until early attacked up and went for DC, within there. But they had controlled this. They had the bases and supplied and kind of blocking it. And the main concern behind this was not so much the valley itself. It was the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad going right along there to protect that vital supply line coming into Baltimore and ultimately DC for men, material, and everything else. So their main concern was to protect this, as well as to protect the back door into Washington as much as possible over here. So both sides had their own supply needs to control the valley here, and whoever controlled the other sides would, cause either victory or at least severe hardships for the other units. So getting back to 1864 and where we are now, we have Crook coming in from the south, Battle of Cloyd's Mountain. He won a victory, but he actually retreated. We have Sigel coming down from the north, needing to protect this area up here from marauders and raiders, but at the same time needing to push south to get to Staunton over here. And he comes down cautiously, timidly, for multiple reasons, and eventually gets down to the New Market area, and this is where Breckinridge comes up and meets him, because at that point Breckinridge is like, we've got to stop them at this particular junction. So with that's where our scenario will start with New Market, and we will go through and take a look at that battle, primarily focusing on the second day of battle, the 15th. The 14th, there was a minor skirmish between cavalry there. On the 15th, that was the main battle within here. And looking at it tactically, we'll see if Sigel can hold out or Breckinridge can repeat and drive Sigel back out of the valley here again. So with that introduction, that gives us what New Market is going to look like, and stay tuned for those videos. And once again, if you want to follow along with this, all of these will be on my YouTube channel, and there'll be playlists for each. So there'll be a New Market playlist that'll be coming up here as well as all the other battles. Will have their own playlists going on here. So please subscribe. Please like the videos if you like them, and please feel free to comment on them. Always looking for more comments, always looking for more information, different information about the battles themselves, to try to build a complete picture of the whole situation. So hopefully you enjoy this, and stay tuned for this, and thanks a lot for watching.